Hi, this is Chanel. Hope you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to talk about, or the topic will be, regurgitated thoughts and opinions versus independent thoughts. Okay. So, in a previous video, I've talked about how, in our society, a lot of people do not, or I'll put it this way, a lot of people have adopted other people's thoughts and feelings and have taken them as their own, okay? Rather than basically putting in the work to know the truth, okay? So in other words, just because someone has fed you a thought, okay, or put something in your ear, doesn't mean it's true. All right. And so, there are people who, like I said, just accept everything they hear is truth. Okay. And then there are people who prefer to learn the truth on their own. Okay. And so what I've done is I've drawn on my whiteboard, okay, and this is how I would see it, okay, and so and I just think of this as the I would call this the baby bird theory, okay, the baby bird theory. So as I'm sure you all know, when let's say there's a nest here, okay, let's say there's a nest. Let's say this baby bird is in a nest. All right. This is the mother bird. Okay. A baby bird cannot forage for its own food. Okay. And so the mother bird does the hunting for food. Okay. Be it insects, seeds, nuts, fruit, whatever the case may be. The mother bird forages food, okay, chews it up, and brings it back to the baby bird and regurgitates it into the baby bird's mouth, okay? So a baby bird does not, get its own food, okay? It comes from the mother, okay? I see a lot of adults being just like this baby bird here. Okay, so there are adults who have their mouth wide open, okay, like this one here, and they just, let's say, this is equivalent to a thought, okay, or food is equivalent to a thought, okay. There are people who are should be able to come up with their own thoughts and ideas, but instead of them coming up with their own thoughts and ideas, they allow other people to regurgitate their thoughts and ideas into their mouth, so to speak. Okay? And then I would consider myself more of this one, okay? And then we have the independent thinker who forages for its own food, okay, or thoughts, okay. So food would be the equivalent of thoughts here, okay. And I've said this before. I definitely seek out wisdom. We all need wisdom. We need knowledge. Okay. And so you can't just not be around. I'm not saying, you shouldn't listen to anyone. Okay. We should definitely, seek out knowledge, be around wise people, get information from wise people, knowledgeable people. Okay. However, I think it's dangerous and silly when adults are like like sponges, are like this second depiction here, where you just allow other people to just regurgitate into your mouth, okay? And you just swallow and digest everything that goes into your gates, okay? Your mouth is a gate. Your ears are gates, okay? If somebody just comes up to you and says, tells you something about someone or something, okay, and you just swallow it and digest it, that would be the equivalent to being an adult bird, okay, who just opens their mouth, head back and mouth open, and you're just allowing someone to regurgitate what they have forged, okay, and just regurgitate it into your mouth, or spit it into your mouth, okay. I think that, like I said, as adults, we should do better, okay, and not just be so accepting of everything that is, everything that's put onto your plate, so to speak, okay. Just because someone is feeding you information does not mean that you should be digesting it, okay. One thing that you need to think of is, so again, when it comes to especially this dynamic here, all right, what are you swallowing and digesting, okay? So what type of, everybody's different. Some people are very negative, some people are very positive, some people are wise, some people are foolish, okay? So when it comes to digesting, open it, like I said, head back, mouth open, and digest. What are you digesting? Who is regurgitating this information, okay? Are they foolish or are they wise? Are they negative or are they positive, okay? You need to consider, and is there, do they have an ulterior motive, okay? Because some people tell you things because there's something that they're wanting, okay? Or people do things for many, many reasons, okay? But at the end of the day, it's important to understand what put effort into understanding what it is you're digesting, okay? Or what it is you're being asked to digest. And consider the source. Where is it coming from? Okay. So one is what are you digesting, and do you know the originating source? Okay. Do you know the originating source? Again, everybody is different. Some people are positive. Some people are wise. Some people are, again, just consider the source. Do you know where it's coming from? When you are like this person, like this one here, this bird here is foraging its own. If it's eating a worm, okay, it knows where the worm came from. If you're like this one here, and you're just consuming whatever is being regurgitated into your mouth, you don't know where it came from. Okay, you don't know, and the same holds true with information. Just because someone, and this is big with gossiping is one huge thing, and so, but at the end of the day, let's say information, okay, if you're just consuming information that's given to you, do you know the originating source? Who came up with that, and how, do you know that this is true? Okay. So again, consider the source. Do you even know the originating source? Okay, it's sort of like, again, with this second one, do you know what you're eating? Do you really know what you're consuming? Do you know where it came from? Okay. And a lot of times you don't. All you know is that you're eating some regurgitated food, or you're given, or you're consuming regurgitated knowledge. Okay. However, you do not know the originating source. Okay. I also want to say with this particular dynamic, okay, when you have two able-bodied people, you have one who wants to feed other people or another person information constantly, and you have someone who's willing to, like I said, head back open mouth, regurgitate and consume whatever it is that they're being fed. There, you need to realize that one, a person who wants to regurgitate thoughts or information, ideas, a lot of times they do that for control purposes. Okay, they want to control what you're consuming. Okay, if they feed it to you, they will know what you are digesting. Okay. And so there are a lot of reasons why people want to feed you. So like I said, sometimes it's control. Sometimes they do it because it's a learned behavior. Some people do it because it just makes them feel well, and I mean, and it just goes back to control. I think a lot of it is control, and it's very easy for people to control those who are willing to just not even attempt to forage for your own food. Okay, it's very easy, and so I would just recommend that a lot of you, again, consider the source. You know, when someone's feeding you information, consider the source. Ask yourself, do you really know where this information is coming from? Or do you know the originating source? And don't be so willing to digest everything that you're hearing or seeing. Okay? Don't be so willing to digest everything. All right? So I hope this video was helpful. I hope you have a wonderful day. Feel free to like, subscribe, and write any comments. Thank you for watching. Bye.